I don't think that I sat down to play a single game this week that wasn't with another person. Late Sunday night, I got news that I was not yet freed from my house sitting job, and I would be there until late Tuesday evening. So I had to cancel some plans, but try to figure out how to fill that time that I spent there still. Honestly, I don't remember a single thing about Monday. I sort of felt like I was in limbo all day, but I must have played Rivals or Apex or something to fill my time. I do remember that I made plans with my cousin Parker for the following day to finally start a run of Stardew Valley, which I had never played before, but I own on multiple different consoles. We ended up playing the first 7 days once we got everything sorted, which wasn't a very long session, but I was still with the dogs, so I had to take care of them. It was definitely still fun. I loved the fishing mini game. I planted and harvested my first crops and met some of the interesting NPCs in the game. It seems like the kind of game that's the best if you have the wiki open constantly, which I'm not a very big fan of that type of game. I have like quite a few hours in Terraria, which is the first that comes to mind for that sort of experience, but that's like my least favorite element of it. Luckily though, my cousin was sort of a walking wiki, which was very helpful. Between moving everything I owned between the place I was house sitting at and here and playing a couple of different games this week, I loaded up my old iPod that I found with all the music I've ripped recently. I wanted more music than just what I had on my CDs though, and I didn't want to wait for my Paramore CDs to come in the mail. So I went to my parents' place to look through my dad's old MP3 collection. I ended up nabbing a couple of Foo Fighters albums, one Johnny Cash American Series album, the Metallica Black album, and then there's another album by Evanescence as The Open Door, most of which I hadn't listened to in full before except for the Metallica album. There's a couple of albums he made jokes about me not taking, like I think one of them was like a Pet Shop Boys album that I had listened to before, and because I didn't take it, he claimed he had gayer music taste than me, which I found funny because I think it takes a special kind of person to own an iPod in 2025 that has both The Empire Strikes First by Bad Religion as well as the deluxe edition of Short and Sweet by Sabrina Carpenter on it. But I suppose he probably doesn't know that firsthand. He has only listened to the former. Previously in the week, we had our sisyphean fortnite session where we took L after L after L, which I think was because we only played BR really that session. By the time our session was nearing its end, I was needing to get up and make dinner, and we had faced our final loss. And so we decided to play one round of Blitz at the very end just so that we could see the Victory Royale screen one time. And we ended up winning that one. About an hour ago, I was on Fortnite for the live event for the end of this season, and I was pretty excited for it. It didn't live up to my expectations for like the scale of it, but it was a fun thing to do with Henry, who joined me for the event. And it was the first like actual interactive live event that I've been able to play since like chapter 3, season 2, I think it was, with the piloting the robot event. I should ask Henry his thoughts on the event, and if he responds, I'll leave them here. I think the only other game that I played this week was Halo 3, which was also with Henry. He came over and we played it split screen at my place. Halo is a series that our friend group has been trying to get through kind of collectively for the past several years, and it's kind of sad that we're only on Halo 3 at this point, but we've started it with some friends, but they live in Colorado, and being able to play the campaign online through the Master Chief Collection is very convenient and nice for like keeping that experience alive, but also it has awful netcode and there's so much input delay when you're playing across like state borders like that, and so it just wasn't a very good experience. So Henry and I restarted it. So far we've been playing every game in the series on legendary mode, and unfortunately, since we were playing couch co-op, I can't play shooters with a controller for shit. So we had a bit of a struggle at the beginning. Bungie Halo games on legendary difficulty are sort of notorious for being genuinely very difficult, and so that combined with poor controller skills and enemies that one-shot you very easily without being very easily identifiable, we had a hard time to begin with. It ended up being a fun experience once we got into the flow of things towards the end of the 3 levels that we played, it was definitely more enjoyable, especially just playing with a friend. That's kind of my main takeaway this week. I didn't spend a ton of time at all this week doing things alone, and I think that's kind of just what it's all about. One of the biggest reasons I collect and play games is for the connection to like the art of the medium. And I think that connection is immediately enhanced and enriched by introducing someone to share it with. And I think my experience with music with my dad this week goes to show that it's not just exclusive to video games as a medium. There's recently been a trend of games popping up that are both lovingly and critically referred to as friendslop, which is a term meant to refer to a game that is sort of shallow in the actual gameplay experience with the goal of fostering fun interactions between your friends. But I think narrowing down those experiences to like a single genre is kind of reductive at the end of the day. I think for everyone, things become better when they're shared, and that's just kind of the nature of human experience. Back in my day,
I went to the beach that makes you old.
We didn't have friendslop, but we had Halo 3 Legendary campaign and early Minecraft and local COD lobbies and Wii Sports and so many experiences that weren't the most mechanically sound or perfectly designed experiences, but we were kids and we played them on the couch in our living rooms together. We had a sense of joy and whimsy. Unfortunately, in the internet age, not everything can be a couch co-op experience, but I think anything can be friendslop if you decide to share it with someone that you love. Thanks for watching. This has been week 8 of my HIFAWIP journal, where I tell you how I feel about what I played this last week. Sorry for the shorter one today. I didn't really feel like being overly critical about just fun experiences that I had with my friends. I have a fuller Saturday schedule than usual, so I'm trying to keep this short so editing it takes less time as well. Leave a comment about a game that you loved playing with friends or family when you were a kid. I feel like I missed a lot of games that were fun multiplayer experiences back in the day during my childhood. And if you've made it all the way to the end, maybe leave a like, and thanks for watching. I'll see you again next week.